Just imagine you're going with that recipe that they're telling you to go with in your grow bag, which is these mixes that the moment you pour the water in it, it goes right through. You're going to be working twice as hard. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Countrymarro here. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of harvesting and share with you guys a few ways how I take care of my garden throughout the summer heats here in Central Florida. This is what the okras are looking like. We have a lot of okra inside here. It's just to find them. We have okras over here. Let's just go ahead now and get a few of these okras. When you're harvesting your okras, you don't want them to be overgrown or too full. Then they're going to be hard to cook, or not even hard to cook. They won't be the most delicious, so they're going to be hard to chew on. That's what I should say. So you need young okras, and with okras, young okras are fit okras. It's like it's a opposite way around. Normally most fruits or foods, you would want them to be fully mature. With an okra, you don't want it to be fully mature, or else you won't be enjoying it. I'm also seeing a few bell peppers inside here. I haven't been around here in 3 days now. Today is Tuesday. I haven't been around here since Saturday because I was away. I'm just getting back home and I just came right around to the backyard to see what's happening, but everything is looking good. So let me just do a quick harvest of some things that I'm going to be needing to prepare a meal. We have some Scotch bonnet peppers down here also. This entire patch here, it is my pepper patch. However, I went ahead back then and dropped a few okras and also amaranth in it, so everything is just coming up together. I also have some cucumbers coming up within this also, so it is the same principle as when I was doing the in-ground garden. I try to get everything thick and growing together to shade each other throughout these hot times. And next thing that I did, if you guys notice on these leaves, these are not worm casting or any form of pests troubling these plants. This is coffee ground, so I went through and sprinkled coffee ground all over this garden to keep away some of the pests, because in an earlier video I promised you guys that I was going to try out the coffee ground thing to see if it does work on pests also, and it seemed to be working a bit. So I won't be telling you guys to use it for pests. I would have to do this thing for maybe a season, a grow season or two, to really confirm if it really works. So I'm not going to jump the guns now and tell you guys that coffee ground keep pests away from your plants. I would never do that. So I'm going to keep on doing my little experiment with it, and if I see success over a period of time, then I can tell you guys whether or not it works. Firstly, we must understand our soil, whether it be our native soil or whatever mixture we have in our raised beds, container garden, whatever it is that we're gardening in. We must understand soil. If you should ask any gardener what type of soil you should plant a particular vegetable in, most gardeners are going to tell you a well-drained soil. What really is a well-drained soil? A lot of gardeners are using over-drained soil. So the moment you water these plants, everything runs right through. There is nothing to hold or to contain this water for the plants to absorb it. It's just like you're watering and everything is just running right through and maybe going to the native soil or to your concrete patios or wherever it wants to go, but it's not going where it should be going, and that is to your plants. So when we think about soil, when I'm doing a soil mix for planting plants to grow and to be productive, I have to have at least 60% of dirt in it. And no, compost is not dirt. Wood chip, it is not dirt. When doing your mixes for plants to thrive in them, you must have dirt, or you should have dirt. Let me not say you must have dirt, because plants can thrive in compost, you know, but it's going to take more work. Plants can thrive in all these potting mix that we buy at the stores, but it's going to take more work because we have to be watering a lot of these mixes 2 and 3 times a day, which doesn't make much sense. For me, if you guys go back and look at the videos when I was about to start planting in those grow bags over there, my first 3 yards of soil was regular soil, just a soil mix, topsoil. I went ahead and I ordered 3 yards of topsoil. I then went ahead and I ordered some garden soil, which is mixed with compost and a whole different set of things. But in most of those, you're going to find that soil is lacking. Most of these are what we have been told to plant in by fertilizer companies in the mid-90s, when they started to promote this whole proper drainage. If you're going to mix your soil mix the way that they tell you to mix your soil mix, you won't be retaining any water in your pots. And with grow bags don't keep a lot of water. So just imagine you're going with that recipe that they're telling you to go with in your grow bags, which is these mixes that the moment you pour the water in it, it goes right through. You're going to be working twice as hard. If you're a gardener that is a content creator and you want to create content from that every day, that will work for you, because that will give you something to do. But for someone like me who just want to garden and not being in the garden 8 or 7 hours a day, I just want to come, maybe spend an hour in the garden for the day and have work to do, have to go somewhere, I can't do that. So for most people watching this garden channel, you don't have the time of day to sit in a garden 5 or 6 hours and be babying it away. So you need an easier way out, and the easiest way out is to ensure that you have soil in your garden. If you just have a ton of compost and wood chip organic material, yes, those can be good for your plants. However, the plants need something that can hold on to moisture. So we want to provide a soil that can retain water and also provide our plants with the macronutrients that they need, which are nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Those are the basic macronutrients that your plants is going to need throughout its lifetime. Next thing, out of those 3 macronutrients, the one that you will have to pay attention to most to ensure that your plant is getting enough of, it's nitrogen. Nitrogen seeps away fast from the soil and it leaves the plant very fast also. So majority of the time when you're fertilizing, all of these different mixes and soil type will be lacking nitrogen more than anything else. So nitrogen is the main thing that you really want to look for to be fertilizing most of your plant with. I'm not saying it's all the time, but most of the time nitrogen is what is lacking in our soils. Your macronutrients are the essential elements that your plants need in large amount. Yes, they do need micronutrients, but the macronutrient, it is like the macronutrients, it is like the banana argument. Everyone is telling you that banana has potassium in it and we need potassium, but for us potassium is a micronutrient. The macronutrient in banana is going to be carbohydrate, sugar and protein. I think those are the 3 main. I really have to look back, but you can fact check me on this. Those are the 3 main macronutrients in banana. Potassium is a micronutrient which we need for immune health and all those things. So those micronutrients, those minerals and things, yes, we do need them, but we use up more macronutrients more than the micronutrients. And when I'm talking about plants feeding themselves, I'm not talking about the photosynthesis stage where a plant needs sunlight and all those things to absorb and the whole energy. I'm talking about what we focus on, which is fertilization. Fertilization is the most common way in which gardeners tend to their plants to feed it. So if we see a plant look a bit sad in our garden, most times we don't think about if that plant need more sunlight. The first thing come to mind is either it need more nutrition, as in feeding, fertilizer, or is this a pest problem? That is the first thing come to gardeners' mind when we think about feeding and caring for plants. So your micronutrients like iron, boron, zinc, they're needed in very small amounts. So most time we really don't have to worry about those. And to make us not worry about those more, if you can have soil, as in any form of topsoil or native soil within your potting or container mix, it is going to make it be much more easier for you to have those readily available for your plants. There's this thing that I used to use on my lawn grass years ago. I think the name of it is azomite. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but azomite, it's a rock dust. And I was sold on it back then, but doing my research a couple of years after, I realized that azomite, yes, it makes sense, but to the amount of time that azomite takes to break down, you and your garden will be long gone before azomite breaks down and is readily available for your plants. I was looking at a research that was showing that if you just get that azomite dust and put it in your garden, your container, whatever you're going to be putting it in, it is not readily available to the plants till about 30 or 60 years, something like that. I'm not sure with the years, but I know it's not before 30 years. So if I'm doing a garden now, I wouldn't be wasting money buying azomite as what I see other gardeners doing and putting into their garden. A lot of these things are just money wasting hobbies in the garden. Let's just put it that way to be nice. It is the same thing with the banana argument and the fertilizer argument. People tend to see banana with potassium. Yes, it has a high concentrate of potassium or level of potassium. However, potassium is a micronutrient, so you can do without it for an extended period of time and it won't cause great harm to you. But when you think about the macronutrients that you need, your carbohydrate, your protein and your fat, you won't do very long without those. So those are not saying more important, but you need more of those to get along. So it's the same thing for your plants. Your plants, they're gonna need more macronutrients than micronutrients. So we have to ensure we are giving our plant what they really need. And remember, plants don't feed like humans do or animals do. The dirt is what is gonna carry your micronutrients. The dirt is what is going to carry your zinc, your boron, all these things that you don't hear gardeners really talk about. The dirt is what is going to hold on to these things. Your mulch and all these other fancy things, which works, but they won't be able to hold on to these things. They can't hold on to mineral, so everything is just going to flow through. Yes, you will have microbial activities. Yes, you will find worm in them and all those things, but remember, plants don't eat worms. So the worms, they just help out with microbial activity and to aerate and all those other things within your soil. I'm just gonna take you guys on a walk where I have those, where the pepper patches, where I have those grow bags, and just show you how they're doing in this Florida heat at this time of the year. But before then, I'm going to do a small cooking, not on camera today, but I'm just going to do some saltfish and okra, and this is what I got from the patch. And I have more okras, but they are very tiny now, they are young, but this is what I'm getting. And nothing is wrong for you to get a small harvest For most of us, we just need a small, consistent harvest throughout the grow season. Most of us are not canning things. Yes, I do can things. Yes, I do freeze dry things, which I'll be showing you guys how I can and freeze dry, like maybe my fall or next spring season. But for now, most backyard gardeners just want something that they can go harvest and head to the kitchen with, and that is what I am promoting. Just sustainability, something that you can just go out there week in, week out, and you're getting out of the season if you have a long grow season. For those gardeners, for you guys up north and in colder climates, yes, you're going to want that big harvest so you can pack away. For people with a longer grow season like I have here in Central Florida, we can harvest maybe about 10 months out of the year. Back where I'm from, Jamaica, I think Jamaica is zone 13. I don't think you have to fact check me on that one. Jamaica is in zone 13 where I'm from, but it is kind of tricky in Jamaica, because even though people tell you that, or the internet tell you that Jamaica is a zone 13, Jamaica is divided into two zones. It is the, let me get it right now, Blue Mountain, the Blue Mountain Peak, Blue and Dranko Mountain Peak, Holyville, Manchester, Christiana, and I think it's the Bullet Mountain. Those are referred to as 9B because those places get really cool. So those are 9B on the island of Jamaica. However, Jamaica is classified as zone 13, which you can grow year-round. So Jamaica is a zone 13, so their hottest month is going to be June and July. Those are going to be their hottest months. Now in August, going back, they will start to cool down. So if you have never been to Jamaica and know what the climate is, it's a tropical climate. However, it's a cooler tropical climate. It is not as humid as Central Florida. Yes, Jamaica is really broken down into two zones. They have for most of the island, people are planting in zone 13, but for those places, the Christiana, Manchester and the Blue Mountain, those higher elevation, they're in a zone 9B, and sometimes those 9B can act as a 10A in Jamaica. So that's really the trick. So in those places, most of those people can grow things like cabbages and lettuce, anything in the brassica family, almost year round. They're cool most part. Yes, they do get hot, but for most part, they're cooler than the remainder of the island. So remember, your main macronutrients are gonna be nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, I think calcium, magnesium. I don't remember the next one. I think sulfur, if I didn't say sulfur already. But those are gonna be your main macronutrient that you really need to pay more attention to than anything else for your plants. And the sweet thing about it is, once you can provide most of your macronutrients to the soil or to your plants, the micronutrients will come along. So you don't really have to pay much attention to that. Yes, sometimes you have some things that will be lacking, but it is very few times. 99% of us won't come across it. 99% of us won't come across a soil that doesn't have zinc in it. So it's really paying more attention to what the plants need, and that is your macronutrients. So over here is the pepper patch, the grow bag garden. I have a lot of amaranth now getting out of control, so I'm just cutting back a few. One of the best ways to control pests on your amaranth is to cut them back some of the time. I only use very few product in my garden, like I use neem oil. I only use neem oil in the cooler months because neem oil tends to burn, and it also will harm your pollinators or your good pollinators. Neem oil tend to harm them, so you don't want to spray neem oil when you have bee and all those things around. So I tend to use neem oil in the cooler months when those are not so prevalent. I normally use my vinegar salt mix that I did in a video about 2 weeks ago. That is a mix that I've been using for not so long now, maybe about a year and a half. I've been using that mix. It also works. And now I'm trying out this coffee ground that you guys see I have on the leaves right here, this brown thing. But I'm just going to cut back a bit. I'm not going to cut back too much so that the sunlight penetrate these bags, but I still want to get off a few of these amaranths. And this is only 1, 2, 3 bags that I've cut, and this is what I'm getting already. So I'm just going to go back and cut a few more and get back to you guys. But guys, the difference with gardening in a cooler zone and gardening in a tropical or subtropical climate like this is that when you're in a cooler zone, you need proper airflow, or else you're going to get mold and a whole lot of insect problem on your plants. When you're in a tropical zone like I am, you tend to want to keep your plants closer so that they help each other, whether by what we're calling companion planting to help to ward off insect, or just to fight against that heat, the sun rays coming down to the root and drying out your soil. So we garden a bit different depending on our zones and location. So guys, as you can see, I'm very sweaty now. I just came in. I didn't even took the time to change off or anything. I just took the camera and said let me come around the back and give you guys a video. So I didn't want it to be a non-productive video. So hope this one made some sense to you all. Happy gardening. God bless you all. See you in the next one. Countrymarro. Cheers.